pool painting advice. I would like to know about acid washing and painting my Gunite pool. Would it work if my surface is not smooth? The previous owner did not maintain the pool for almost a decade. What should I use to patch the spots? Also, the tile on the outside of the pool was painted with a latex paint. What would remove this paint and what type of paint should we use?
So two questions there. I'll answer the second one first. I'm trying to understand what it says, but it says the tile on the outside of the pool, which would either indicate that this is a pool that's raised out of the ground slightly. I know for a number of years there were a lot of pools that were built that were 1 foot to 18 inches out of the ground and that outer edge was tiled. I'm guessing that's what we're talking about here, but likely if it was a latex paint, any paint stripper would be fine, and you would just have to do some experimenting in terms of what the sequence in the process is to remove the paint, and then again repainting it. I would recommend a pool-based paint to repaint it, the tile. But secondly, let's go to the interior of the pool. Pool paint will work on an irregular surface. If there's a lot of pitting that you're trying to, or big spots that you're trying to fill, I would be cautious of. So here's the challenge. Let me back up a little bit. Is that you first need to drain the pool and acid wash it. If there's a lot of repairs that need to happen, you need to think about what you're going to use, because if you use a regular pool plaster to fix those holes, while that's fine, you've got to realize that it takes time for that plaster to cure, and you certainly don't want to leave the pool empty any longer than you have to. So if you're patching big sections, I would find another way instead of using a normal pool plaster, unless you want to wait 28 days before you paint it. And here's why. If that plaster is not cured, when you put the paint over it, the paint's not going to adhere to it very well. So if you can live with whatever the pit marks are, or you could also grind them down, would be another option to try to get rid of some of the roughness, and then acid wash it and then paint it. It's probably the best case scenario. However, there are some products out there, some epoxies and things that have quick set times that could be used if there's a lot of small spots. I know when we do eco finish and we have some repairs, they have a proprietary blended epoxy that we use to fill in cracks and holes and things so that the surface is smooth. And those types of things, because they're epoxy based, but they work well with the eco finish itself, we have no problems with the lamination right there. If we use regular plaster repair patch kits, that plaster needs to cure before we're going to put the eco finish over it. So the same thing kind of applies with pool paint. As the key with pool paint is acid wash, then TSP it. You need to neutralize that acid before you just go start whipping and rolling paint on. And then most importantly, dry surface, paint it nice and evenly. And here's the thing that nobody wants to do, but you're supposed to, is let the pool dry thoroughly before you fill it. Now the challenge with that is you're leaving a pool empty, which is not a good idea. I get it. So there's all these things that are against you. However, if you want to do it right, you do have to leave it dry. And some say 7 days, some say more. I don't know. You'd have to look at the paint manufacturer specs, but in all the years in the past, way back for me, we would paint a pool and we'd give it a day to dry and we'd fill it back up, knowing that it wasn't going to give the longevity, but there was too much concern with leaving the pool empty in our region of the country. So do the steps, pay the attention to what the manufacturers are recommending, and they should be okay.